So, Detention is a third and final part of a trilogy of dance works that I've been creating over the last 10 years. The first piece I created was a piece called Coal, which looked at the 1984 British miners' strike, which I personally was very, very connected to as a young boy. I'm from a mining village called Grimethorpe in Barnsley. So, the miners' strike was very, very kind of profound in my life. And I wanted to create a piece of work to kind of honour that. I then created a work called Wasteland, which looked at the death of industrial Britain and then the rise of the UK rave culture under Thatcherism, and what happens to a generation after all the coal mines have closed down, and looking at the illegal rave culture and what that did to that next generation. And then I was compelled to do a third and final work, and I started to look at Britain in the 80s and 90s under Margaret Thatcher's government, and I came across Section 28, which in a nutshell was a law that was brought in 1988, which prohibited the promotion of homosexuality. And it stayed in law for 15 years, and it had a huge effect on the LGBTQ plus community. And I was a young gay man growing up in the 1980s under Section 28. And I started to understand why my upbringing was the way it was. There was a lot of homophobia, there was no representation, there was a lot of bullying, and it was because of Section 28. This law was also hidden. It was a hidden legislation. Not many people knew about it. And I'm interested in telling political stories through dance and dance theatre. And it felt like a good opportunity to shine a light on a legislation that had a massive impact on yet another marginalised community. So it kind of follows a thread through from Coal, Wasteland and Detention. I guess what unites all three pieces is Margaret Thatcher's Britain and how various different communities have had to kind of fight for their rights and their existence. And there's a kind of autobiographical theme that kind of threads all three pieces together because I was personally affected by the miners' strike, the rave community, and Section 28. So my kind of, yeah, my own personal kind of story and life is kind of embedded in the blood and the heart of the works.